Deciding best not to try the concept oil burner again until I had a backer board on the wall, I went to work putting the burner back in place, remounting all the original hardware, but decided to turn both brackets in a manner that made it look better without the bolts showing. Funny how 20 degrees outside and there's still a cricket running around. I picked up some ceramic blanket material online. I've never used this material before, and it feels like dense cotton candy, and pulls apart just the same. I cut out a 1 1/4 inch long strip off the end, using 2 passes to cut all the way. And put it away, and cut down a 7-inch strip or so to place in the burner. I shoved it down with a rod and evened it out from the other side. Following up with the same style, I picked up a stainless Radiator Overflow tank online as well. It came nicely packed with a 1.5 inch fill top. Standing 10 inches tall by 3 inches wide, it has the capacity of holding 1 quart to drain out the bottom with a 1/4 inch drain port. Picking up all the necessary hardware to drain the oil, I chose a 1/4 inch inside diameter clear tubing with 1/4 inch 3-way barb fittings, with a 1/4 inch brass shutoff valve to govern the flow of oil. If I decided to add another tank, I picked up a 3-way barb fitting shutoff valve just in case. Adding the riser and fan back to the burner, I could decide on a height of the oil tank so as to drain properly. I mounted it with 2.5 inch screws to hold it to the wall stud, using the supplied hardware, tightening the tank to the brackets. It fit nice and solid. Using the 1/4 inch clear tubing, I eyeballed the lengths needed to attach the oil can ports, and used small hose clamps to hold them in place. I didn't use hose clamps on the 3-way as it was plastic and fit very snug. But did decide to use hose clamps on the barbed valve and the copper tube that leads to the burner. Moving along to the exhaust side, I chose an 8-inch exhaust tip with a small reducer to see if that would work well enough with the existing pieces that I have. After tightening the clamps down in a way that would allow the small side of the exhaust tip to swing over the burner end with the hangers in place, another support would be needed for the exhaust brackets. I marked and drilled the holes for the 2-inch mending brackets, placed the top hinge in, and tightened them down to hold the whole thing in as I adjusted, and tightened down the last mending plates on the bottom to hold it all in place. Once they were tightened, the angle of the bracket fit snug to allow the hinge to swing the exhaust side out of the way for cleaning or ignition. Continue watching the ignition in other videos. Like and subscribe to stay tuned.